gentlemen, so first off, I'll be in my office all day today if you need anything. And tentatively, I just looked at my calendar. It looks like I'd be in my office tomorrow as well, which is good. Let's see, I think it's that one. All right, going through the problems. I labeled quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4, just that made that easier for me to see. Looks like point A is at 3, 5. B is at negative 4, 0. C is at 5, negative 7. D is at negative 3, negative 8. And then which quadrant would those particular points be in? Number 5 looks like it'll be in quadrant 2. Number 6 is in quadrant 1. Number 7, negative 5, 0, being on the line, I would just say it's in quadrant 2 and quadrant 3. And they have a term that they use for it, but I don't know if it's really important to know, other than saying, quadrant 2 and quadrant 3, it's right on the line. 0, 7 is on quadrant 1 and 2. That'll work. And then problem number 9 is in quadrant 3. Are there any questions over the first 9 problems? Seem okay? Let's move down. All right, let's see. I plotted D in the wrong spot first, so I crossed it out. Sorry, I did it in pen. But basically, that's where those points look like they went. Notice I did label the points A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, all the way through A through D and E through F, G, H. So that's what we got there. So I think you all are pretty confident about just plotting points. Remember, you go the X, Y direction first. All right, problem 18 says complete the table and sketch the graph. So just a rough sketch is fine. So problem number 18, this kind of stumped a few of you and helped a few of you yesterday with homework. If you have y equals a number and you have x values you plug in, your answer is just all the way down the y component is going to be 4. This is going to be a horizontal line. So if you graph it, it's a horizontal line going through 4. So you'd get negative 2, comma 4, negative 1, comma 4, 0, comma 4, 1, comma 4, 2, comma 4. Anyone know what the slope of that line would be? A horizontal line? 0, yeah. Okay. And what's the slope of a vertical line? Not 0, though. Undefined. It's a 0 with a slash through it. Undefined. Problem number 19, if you plot your points in, if you plug negative 2 in, you get negative 7 out. It's just the arithmetic. It's input, output. Plug negative 1 in, you get negative 5 out. Plug 0 in, you get negative 3 out. Plug 1 in, you get negative 1 out. Plug 2 in, you get 1 out. Again, if you plot it, it's that kind of line. This line is rising. The reason it's rising is because the slope is positive. And then number 20, if you plug negative 2 in, you get 0 out. Negative 1 in, you get half out. Plug 0 in, you get 1 out. Plug 1 in, you get 1.5 out. Plug 2 in, you get 2 out. If you were to plot your points, they're going to, again, give you a line that is rising, okay, positive slope. Problem number 21, if you wanted to find the slope, you're going to get 7 minus 3, 4 minus 2. Do the arithmetic, comes out to be 2. That's an increasing slope. It's a positive slope, therefore it's increasing. Problem number 22, you go 1 minus 5 and 2 minus 4, which is 2 plus 4. So you get negative 4 over 6, which reduces to negative 2 over 3. If you left it at negative 4 over 6, totally fine with that. That's decreasing because it's a negative slope. Number 23, if you plug negative 8 in, you get negative 8 minus negative 8, which gives you 0 on top. 0 on top is 0. So this is not increasing or decreasing. It's actually a horizontal line. Okay, so you have a slope of 0. And I think we're okay with that. And then I wanted to slow down a smidge and make sure we're okay with the last two problems. Okay, so if you have one point and you have the slope is like a map that will take you to another point. Okay, so let's go through and take a look at it. It says, so if I have a starting point of 0, 1, that would be up here. And then it says I have a slope of 2 over 3. So from this point, I'm going to go up 2 and right 3 and put a second point. So the slope is not a point, but it's like a map to find you another point. Does that make sense how I just said that? Yeah. Okay? So this point here does indeed exist. And again, I found it because I used the slope from the existing point. From the existing point, it's 2 over 3. That means it goes up 2. Remember, you go vertical first and right 3. On this one, negative 4, 3. So negative 4, positive 3 is right here. The slope is negative 1 over 2. So that means I'm going to go down 1 from the original point and right 2, and that's how we would get there. So again, the slope is a map. If you have one point known, you can use the slope as a map to find another point. Is that all right? Any other questions that came from the homework, or do you feel okay about it? We good? Talk to me, bub.
What was the last question for number 23?
M equals 0, it's horizontal.
Alright.
Yeah, because it was 0 on top. If 0 is on bottom, it's undefined, but if 0 is on top. So how I always remember 0 on bottom being undefined, 0 under the line, undefined, UU.
Alright.
Make sense? Can I clear this? Anyone still need this? Alright, let's pull up our notes. You guys ready? Alright. Our target learning. I can graph! Okay. And recognize or write an equation in slope-intercept form by identifying the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so there's a few different forms that are used when graphing. And we're going to focus on y equals mx+b, which is called slope-intercept form. And the slope-intercept means the b value is the y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis. The m attached to the x is your slope. And again, the slope is like a road map. Okay, that's an important equation we're going to use. A lot of times you will use also something called point slope. A lot of times point slope is more accepted in the science community. It's also utilized a lot more in calculus. So we're going to be learning how to graph, recognize, and write an equation. Okay, so we're talking about straight lines. Straight lines have some sort of slope to it. The slope can indeed be 0. The slope can indeed be undefined. If it's undefined, it's a vertical line. If it's 0, it's a horizontal line. If it's rising, it's a positive slope. And rising, we said, how do we know it's rising? What does it mean? Where does it end? Yeah, top right. And if it's decreasing, where does it end? Yeah, lower right. So top right, increasing, lower right, decreasing. So increasing like this, decreasing like that. Increasing, decreasing. 0, undefined. Ready? All right, warm up. Find the slope of each. Okay, so we have the slope equation, and we know the slope equation is this. It's always the same. And we talked about yesterday that the subscripts are just a way to identify the different x and the different y values. Does it matter the way that you number them? Could x1, y1 come first? Or does it have to come first? Or could x2, y2 come first? Doesn't matter, so just pick how you're going to do it. So let's label this x1, y1, and x2, y2, and then plug it in. y2 is 3 minus negative 5, 6 minus 2. What does that mean? 3 minus 5? Plus 5, so what's on top? 8. What's on bottom? What does this reduce to? 2 over 1 or just 2? That's our first step. Are we okay there? All right, second one. Again, we're going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. Our slope equation, I'm going to go 2 minus 5, 6 minus 0. 2 minus 5 is negative 3 over 6. What does that reduce to? Negative half? Okay. Hey, can the negative be on bottom? So you can have the negative on bottom. Okay. It's more accepted to keep it up on top, but if it's on bottom, it's still totally fine. How would you find the slope if you already have a graph up there? Okay, so I have a point here and I have a point here. Can I count to get the slope? Do I go in the vertical direction first or the horizontal direction first? So I count over and down? Remember, it's in the y direction. The y direction is up and down. So I have my x and I have my y component. So from this point, I'm going to count down. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went down. So what does that mean? It's negative. So it's negative 5 over. Now I'm going to count right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 5 over 4 is my slope. Is that an increasing slope or a decreasing slope? Decreasing. It's ending to the lower right. Okay, so if I try this problem as well, I go to the vertical direction first. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went up 4. And then I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So positive 2/3, that's increasing, positive increasing, negative decreasing. And that's how I would go about those. Again, you're going in the vertical direction first. You're going in the rising direction first. The Y direction first. Can I move on? Everyone feel okay about this? This was kind of a little bit of a redo of yesterday with a smidge of new on the 3 and 4, talking about that. Okay, so equation of a line, when we solve for y, and we have distributed over all parentheses and things like that, is called slope-intercept form. Okay? Y equals mx plus b is utilized over and over again. It's an important feature to know. Okay? M is the slope. B is the y-intercept. And that's where the line crosses the y-axis. So this is actually 0, comma b. This is our slope. Okay, remember the slope is like a map. If I have one point that I know, if I know where it crosses the y-axis, is that a point? Where it crosses the y-axis, is that a point? 0, comma b, is that a point? Yes. If I have a point, I can use the slope as a map to find a second point. Okay, so let's investigate this. So as long as it solves for y equals, and there's no parentheses, it'll tell us a lot about the problem. All right, so where does this problem appear to be crossing the y-axis? Give it to me as a point. 0, negative 3. So right here is the point, 0, negative 3. So what is my b value? Negative 3. My b value is equal to negative 3. Okay? We're going to plug it into this equation eventually. What do I definitely know right now? Because of what have we just done? I know the b value. Do I know the slope at this point? No. So what we have to do is let's identify another place where it's going to cross at definitely a point. It looks like right there it's going to cross. Okay? So I'm going to go up. How many? 2. And over how many? Up 2, right 3. So I have a slope of 2 over 3. Should the slope be positive? Is it increasing? It ends upper right. It's increasing. It should be a positive slope. What is the equation to this line? Y equals 2 over 3x plus negative 3. How can I rewrite plus negative 3 a little better? Just minus 3. So this gives us a lot of information. It gives us where it crosses the y-axis, which is a point. It also gets us the slope, which is a map to find more points. Okay? All right, move down one. There we go. Okay, a few things. Is it increasing or decreasing? Decreasing. What should we know about the slope? It's negative. Okay? Where does it appear that it's crossing the y-axis right now? 4. So what point is that? 0 what? 0, 4. Okay? So 0, 4 is where it's crossing the y-axis. It's definitely a point. So right here is 0, 4. And then we need to find another place where it looks like it's crossing exactly. I'd say right here. Okay, so how would I go down and what? So I'm going down 1 and over 2. So down 1 and over 2. Notice our root is negative. How do I know it's negative? What was my move?
It's decreasing.
It's decreasing, and I went down, so it had to be negative. So my b value is what? 4. So y equals mx plus b. Tell me the equation. Don't forget. Negative 1 over 2x plus 4. Exactly. So again, there's your equation from that line. So things to remember. If it's decreasing, it's going to be a negative slope. Don't forget the negative slope. Feel A-okay? Okay. Number 6. Increasing or decreasing? Increasing. What kind of slope then? Positive. Okay? Y-intercept is what? 0, negative 6. So what's my b value? Negative 6. Okay, and again, I have to find another place that it's crossing exactly, and it looks like right there, it goes right through. So I'm going to go up 2 and right 1. So my slope is up 2 over 1. How do I write that? I like 2. 2's okay. Because you know 2 is supposed to be over 1, right? So what's my equation if this is my... There you go. Y equals 2x minus 6. Or plus negative 6. Your choice how you want to write it. Now remember I said that sometimes you can have a vertical line, sometimes you can have a horizontal line. I think the next one's going to be a horizontal line. A horizontal line has what for slope? 0. Horizontal is 0. Okay? Vertical is undefined. Horizontal 0. So, where does it appear to be crossing the y-axis? 0, 3. So my b value is equal to what? 3. It's not rising, it's not falling. The slope is what? If I used y equals mx plus b, my equation is y equals 0x plus 3. What is 0 times anything? 0. Does this need to be part of the equation? It's gone. So my horizontal line is y equals wherever it crosses the y-axis. Okay? The slope is 0. We don't have to, 0 times x is 0. You could keep it as y equals 0x plus 3. That's totally fine. But realize y equals whatever that numeric value would be. That's how you work it. Okay, so if we have it solved for y, and we don't have any parentheses, the constant, that's the term that doesn't have the x attached to it, is where it crosses the y-axis. That's 0, comma b, whatever that value is. The slope is attached to the x. Okay? In this case, our slope happens to be 0. We okay so far? Right. Mac, first equation. Says, now identify the slope of the y-intercept. What do you think the y-intercept is on that very first one?
1.
Okay, so my b is equal to 1. So that is the point what? 0, 1. And what does the slope appear to be?
-2.
There you go, bub. Okay? Kenzie, number 6. Is it solved for y?
No.
No. What would I have to do to get y all by itself, do you think? I like it. So I want y by itself, so I'm going to do the opposite value to both sides. Now, can I add 5x and 10 together to get a new different number? No, they're not like terms. Okay, Mackenzie, what does the y-intercept appear to be?
The y-intercept is,
The constant. What's the constant? Remember, that's the term that doesn't have x attached to it. 10. So b equals 10. So the y-intercept is the point 0, 10. Feel okay with that? What does it appear the slope is now? 5. No? 5. Just the number, yeah. So the slope is just 5. And you know what? A lot of people will attach the letter to it. The slope is just a map. It's just a ratio or a whole number to get you to another point. Huh? What's that? You don't need the x. The x is not the slope. The x just tells you where the slope is attached to. All right, TJ, does it appear that number 7 is solved for y?
No.
No. So I need to get y by itself. So how would I start going about getting y all by itself?
Subtract 3x.
Subtract 3x, I like it. Okay, let's see what's going to happen here. Minus 3x, okay. So that's going to give me, that cancels. That gives me negative 6y equals negative 3x plus 12. Hey, how do I know it's plus 12?
Because there's no negative.
Yeah, it's positive 12. Good. All right, so have I solved for y yet?
No.
What should I do for the very last move?
Divide by negative 6.
What should I divide by negative 6? How many terms?
3.
All 3. Good. There's 3 terms. All 3 terms I'm going to divide by negative 6. Reduce if I can. That cancels that. What does that reduce to? 1/2. What does that reduce to? Negative 2. What is my y-intercept? Negative 2. What is my slope? All right. Okay. Preston. Oh. Okay, let's take a look at number 8. Now, I think we just saw one kind of like number 8. Let's go back one slide. What do we know about this one? What kind of line is it? It's a horizontal line. What do you know about the slope of a horizontal line? It's 0. And what do you know about the y-intercept? Take a look right there.
Isn't it that the b is equal to the
There you go, buddy. All right, so what is my slope of this one? 0? What's my y-intercept? No, 4. Good. Good, that was a little trick. Uh-oh. All right, who should we pick on? I think we could pick on Tristan. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Yeah, bub. All right, x equals negative 1. It's a little different because it's not y equals. You agree? Still with me? Okay, y equals a number is a horizontal line. X equals a number, what do you think it would be? If y equals a number is horizontal, what would x equals a number be? Vertical. And what kind of slope does a vertical line have? I couldn't hear you. Okay, it's a vertical line. It's just rising like crazy. It's just rising like crazy. It's going straight up and down. So it's not going right or left. Remember, right or left is the denominator. So if the denominator is 0, 0 is under, it is, if the denominator is, if the 0 is under the division, it's, numerator, no, so your numerator is on top, and that's going to be a numeric value. Under is 0. Under being 0, what does that mean? Angela, I think you know it. It's what? Huh? No, it's a vertical line, yeah. Undefined. This has an undefined slope. This is a vertical line. All vertical lines. Now, guys, and you might have said that. I couldn't hear you because you're mumbling. Okay, hang on. I think we can make this connection. Ready? Vertical starts with what letter?
V.
V. What letter is really close to V?
W.
W. Go the other way.
X.
Go the other way. What?
U.
U.
U. Vertical. And then the letter next to it is U. U stands for
U.
underwear, or in math it stands for,
Underscore.
or it stands for math for slope, it stands for undefined. U and V are right next to each other in the alphabet. So vertical lines have undefined slopes. U and V are right next to each other. Vertical starts with V, undefined starts with U. U and V are next to each other. Illuminati, good. All right, so the slope of this one is undefined. So you could write it like that. Okay. Oh, hang on. Time out. Ooh, I think we got a connection here. Okay, we have a vertical line. You still with me? Vertical line. This vertical line can be anywhere on the XY axis, correct? Does this vertical line cross the Y axis?
Yes.
Here's the Y axis. Here's my vertical line. Do they cross? No. So B? Nope.
Nope.
Doesn't exist. Okay?
Nope.
Is there any time that a vertical line could include the y-axis? X equals 0 is a vertical line. X equals 0 is the y-axis. So it sort of crosses infinite. Okay? So vertical lines, for the most part, unless it is talking about the y-axis, is not going to have the y-axis as part of it. Okay, so that's a little thing. So U and V are right next to each other. U is undefined, V is vertical. So vertical lines have an undefined slope. In order to know that I have an undefined slope, the 0 is under the other number. So I used a lot of U's and V's in there. You can't divide by 0. It's like a big no-no.
Well, you can, but it doesn't really work out.
Well, it's called the central squeeze limit theorem in calculus, but for not numbers. And it just means you're approaching it from one side or the other, or both sides. In other calculus classes, they call it the fly-swatter theorem, but we're not there yet either. All right. Woo! All right. So what do you do if you don't know the y-intercept? Okay, so take a look. That y-intercept happens to be falling between 0 and 1. I don't know exactly where it's at. It's about in the middle, but I can't guarantee it's exactly in the middle. So if I don't know the y-intercept, my very first step is let's find the slope. Okay, so this is the point right here, -3, -2, and I have this other point that I know that are identified at 2, 2. So let's find the slope. I know the slope equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which means I have to label this. x1, y1. Could I label that x2, y2? Yes. Let's plug in what we know. I go 2 minus -2. 2 minus -2 over 2 minus -3. What's 2 minus -2? 4. What is 2 minus -3? What's my slope? 4 over 5. Okay? Woo! Okay. Hang on. Let's see what we're doing here. Okay, so the first step, find the slope. We have the slope, 4 over 5. Next step, plug the slope into y equals mx plus b. Okay, I could do that. Using this equation. So now I'm going to get y equals 4 over 5x plus b. Okay, I think that makes sense. Let's plug the slope back into that equation. Find another point xy. Find another point xy. Find another point xy. What does that mean? Okay. Okay. So let's take a look. I'm looking here. No, that's a little bit. That doesn't happen right there, and that's not going to happen. I could use a slope going up and over, but that's going to get to that other point. None of these points are falling exactly where I want them. Okay. So if none of those points are plugging in, hang on. Ooh, you know what? Wait, hang on. Let's see. How do I do this? You know what? It says find another point, but I have 2 points up there. I think I can use those one of those 2 points. Reese, which one of those points do you want me to pick? You pick one.
-3 and -2.
Okay. Reese is choosing this one. -3 is what value, x or y? -2 is what value, x or y? X, y. Now we did label it x1, y1. Now I'm going to just label it x and y. What do you think I'm going to do with this x and y with relationship to our new green equation? So what are my unknowns right here on this equation right now? X, y, and b. What did I now define this as? X and y. What is my unknown then? Sweet. All right. Hang on. Hang on. So y equals, so -2 equals 4 over 5 times x. X is what? -3 plus b. Oh, that's, wait, hang on. -2 equals -12 over 5 plus b. Hang on, I think I know how to do this. I know how to do this. How would I clear the denominator? What do I have to multiply all 3 terms by to get rid of that denominator? 5. So -10 equals -12 plus 5b. So all I did is I multiplied this by 5, this by 5, and this by 5. These 5's cancel each other out. How am I going to get b by itself right there? Nope. Before that. Add 12. So I'm going to add 12 here, add 12 here. So 2 equals 5b. So b is equal to what? What is it? 2 what? 2 over 5? B is that. Do I know slope? Yeah. So slope is what? Huh? 4 over 5? Plus 2 over 5? So my linear equation that contains those 2 points is y equals 4/5 x plus 2/5. Does this kind of make sense that this point right here is about 2/5? 2/5 is 0.4. And it looks like when I'm looking at it, it's not quite at 0.5. So, wow. That's a different technique. There's kind of a lot to it, but I'm only using y equals mx plus b once I found the slope. Okay, so if you have 2 points that are given, if you have a line and you can't determine exactly where across the y-axis, find the slope first, which is the slope equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's m. And then I'm going to use y equals mx plus b, plugging my new m value in, picking one of my points, labeling it x and y rather than x1, y1 or x2, y2, plug that back in, solve for b, and then once you find m and b both, plug them both back into y equals mx plus b. Holy cow. I bet you we're going to have to practice that a smidge. Because that's that's a lot of thought. That's a big problem. It's actually a small problem, 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 a small problem to make that. So it's like 5 small problems that all come together and make one big problem. Almost done, almost done. Only got 65 more slides to go. What? Just kidding. All right, find the equation of a line that has a slope of 3 and a point, it goes through a 1, 7. So slope is what letter? M. So that's M. What letters can I use here? X and Y. And I know y equals mx plus b. And And if I plug everything in, then I know what letter am I solving for? B. So 7 equals 3 times 1 plus B. What's 3 times 1? How do I solve for B? Subtract 3. Cancel. B equals 4. Do I know the slope? Do I know the y-intercept? Let's plug it back into that equation. Y equals 3x plus 4. This equation here has a slope of 3. It goes through that point as well. That's kind of cool. That works. And that not it. Everything up there you already know. You know that a point is x comma y. We already learned slope is m. So we're just plugging in what we don't know. Almost done. Yeah, can I have you for 2 more slides? I know it says slide 13, but there's nothing on it. So we're going to draw a smiley face or something. We don't judge. Sometimes there's blank slides. We just don't judge. Oh, hey, what happened there? Find the equation that has a slope of -half and goes through the point 4, 3. So what's my slope? It is decreasing. I like it because it's negative, right? What's the slope? -1/2. And slope is what letter? What letter is this? What letter is this? What equation am I going to use? Y equals mx plus b. Okay, hang on. What letter am I going to solve for if I have m, x, and y? I'm going to solve for b. So I know that y is 3. M is what? -1/2. X is what? Plus b. Hey, what's -1/2 of 4? -2. How do I get b by itself? Add 2. What's b equal to? 5. Do I know m? Yeah. Do I know b? What's my equation?
3 equals.
Wait a minute. Y equals mx plus b. I used the slope, and I found my b. Done. Last one. Still with me? All right. Find the equation of a horizontal line to the point 6, -2. Oh my. Oh my. Horizontal line. Horizontal line. What's the slope of a horizontal line? Yeah, m equals 0 here. Still with me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to use this. Y equals mx plus b. Still with me in this equation? What number is that? Or what letter is that? X. What letter is this one? Okay, let's plug them in. -2 equals 0, right? Times 6 plus b. What is this?
0.
B is -2. B is -2. So what's my equation then? Almost. You said y equals. Y equals what? Y equals -2. So wait a minute. If you have a horizontal line and you know that where it crosses the y-axis, so my b value, that's the same thing. So my b value is the same thing as y equals. Hang on. Look at my original point. 6, -2. What's my y value? -2. What's my equation of my line? Just y equals -2. So horizontal line, y equals, so if it's a horizontal line, y equals that is my equation. Wow. I think I got it. I think I'm good for today. All right. Page 8081, which is worksheet 2. Not really that much. Find the slope. And and y-intercept. For each, identify the slope and the y-intercept. They're solved for y. Some of you have solved for y. Dude, you're there. You are there. Guys and girls, we had almost everybody do homework last time. Again, don't let this last part of the semester get behind you.